Remember, the next episode after this is already up live and available to watch now by over 4,500 incredible fans on the world's largest and highest earning anime and manga Patreon in the world. The links are in the pinned comment and description. See you there.
What is this? That robot, what has he done? Excuse me, do you have any idea who you nearly just hit?
Lord Champa, this mortal, it's a Saiyan. What would he be doing all the way out here? So our story continues back with the unexpected arrival of Prince Vegeta into what appears to be Universe 6, transported by one of his opponent's final attacks. As of all the first beings to meet in this universe, it would be the god of destruction Champa and his angel Vados. But Vegeta, just seeing them as two strangers, would take caution immediately, jumping straight up from the ground to the surprise of Champa and his angel. But now up in the sky, the Broly-fused Vegeta, in his new legendary form, would finally have a better view of who he was in the presence of. And once he'd seen the purple fur of a certain feline, he would begin mumbling,
"Wait! That clothing! It's you! No doubt about it! The creature who made a mockery of my father for years! The Destroyer! Beerus!"
As suddenly enraged, raising his fist naively, Vegeta would continue,
"Never did I think I would be seeing your face again! But now is a mighty fine time! If Kakarot could get rid of Frieza, then I will be the one to get rid of you!"
Oh, well, we may not know who he is, but he at least seems to know something about us. It appears he may be from Beerus-sama's territory.
Beerus! Oh great! Now I dislike him even more!
As an unimpressed and borderline annoyed Champa would look up with gritted teeth grumbling,
"I don't know how you could possibly confuse me with that malnourished twig, but I am not Beerus! I am Champa, his older brother!" "What? Beerus as a brother?"
As of course, on hearing this for the very first time, Vegeta would be taken aback, adding,
"Another god of destruction exists then, but I remember him telling father he was the only one." "Yes, Beerus is the only one who resides in his universe, Universe 7. But little Saiyan, you aren't in that low mortal level piece of trash anymore. You are now in Universe 6! Universe 6? What nonsense is this? There are other universes! Then why did that damn toaster bring me here? Flying through space was one thing, but how do I get to Kakarot now?"
As instantly Vegeta would freeze when he would realize just how much of a grave predicament he had somehow landed in. And things would only look to be getting worse when Vados would address him. "Saiyan, I think we've heard enough. It seems you do not belong in this universe. That is a problem. Universe hopping without the aid of an angel is a crime, a major one. and I don't see any sign of my brother Whis. Before she would then turn back to her destroyer, now with a smile, and ask, "Well, Lord Champa, what should we do with him? Turn him over to my father, or deal with him now?" To which Champa would briefly think, muttering,
If we tell the priest, no doubt he could end up blaming me somehow. Better just get rid of the evidence. So, how do you want to die, scum from Beerus's universe? I knew your kind would all be the same.
As soon as Champa would make this decision, folding his arms with a callous smile, enjoying the sudden death sentence for the stranger, Vegeta, in response, would tighten his fists and ready himself for a far bigger problem than not being able to find Son Goku.
Smile all you want, Garfield. The one who dies here is you and your wench, not me!
As defiantly, the legendary powered Saiyan, fresh off the heels of his extreme jump in power after fusing with Broly, would then immediately begin generating balls of concentrated energy in each of his hands. And with a roar would blast both down, with a tremendous scream, only to then unleash a signature barrage of energy blasts in a way only Vegeta knew how. The attack seemingly never ending as he would launch his arms forward with so much speed and ferocity it would appear as if he was stealing Tien's own multi-arm technique. And of course, this would result in a stupendous explosion, erupting right on top of Vados and Champa, fiery flames everywhere. But Vegeta's blast would just not end, the clouds of explosions just getting larger and larger, until ultimately erupting in what looks like hellfire, the planet itself no longer able to cope with the energy and heat being generated on its surface. But eventually the prince would finish, staying above with his arms lowered, huffing and puffing away from energy expenditure.
Broly, the strength of those beams just now, that was all you. Congratulations. Together, we've taken down a destroyer and his angel. Maybe this universe isn't too bad after all.
As prematurely, of course, Vegeta would begin patting himself and his fusion partner on the back.
Beerus must really be weak these days if his own mortals actually believe a god could die to that. How ridiculous.
But when I said premature, it really would be when suddenly the voice of Champa would calmly ring out.
Impossible! When did they?
As unfortunately for Vegeta, it would seem just like in so many cases he had used that energy barrage, he had only succeeded in hitting thin air, as right beside him now would be both Vados and Champa, with their arms behind their backs and not a scratch on either side, with the angel just whispering, "Shall we, Lord Champa?" As just like that in tandem, both would swing their legs up and strike Vegeta in a flash,
his body no longer even in the panel, as he would instantly be struck into the distance. His weak groans getting fainter and fainter, as he would be seen traveling at Mach speed away, crashing into multiple of these mysterious stone structures and houses, before finally coming to a rest, buried under a pile of rubble and dust clouds, his body no longer even twitching, just frozen still. But when we'd rejoin the two deities, they would be on the ground thinking nothing of continuing further, as Vados would count the prince out saying, "Well, that was certainly short-lived. He's stronger than the Saiyans we know of though. Should we keep him alive?" But Champa would just fly into the sky once more, eventually turning back and saying, "Stronger? Well, not that strong. This planet was next on the list to be destroyed anyway. Since he's buried here, he can go along with it. Hopefully, he was important to Beerus. That'll be worth a whole lot more to me."
Hold on, my lord. I believe this planet may be fighting back.
As suddenly the angel herself would be destabilized on the ground, the whole planet shaking as if it were trying to prevent its own destruction. That brat! It's him! That is, until both Vados and Champa would look into the distance where Vegeta had just landed and start to notice a rise in power level, responsible for the planet's unpredictability.
Oh my!
And it wouldn't be long at all before an eruption of energy would explode out of the ground in Saiyan fashion. But it wouldn't be just an ordinary color, but a heavily green-tinted yellow. What? This doesn't feel like a mortal! What am I sensing here? As now Champa for the first time would begin to raise his eyebrow at what he'd be sensing from a lonely mortal. Something that would send shudders down the spine of even a god. As from the violent energy, an unbelievable sight would be seen, as Vegeta would emerge several times larger, his muscles bulked to the max, his hair more like a lion's mane, and his pupils now disappeared. Vegeta would enter truly the legendary Super Saiyan form, surpassing even Super Saiyan Blue in one swoop with this uncontrollable power-up. And uncontrollable it would seem, as Vegeta would appear far more like a primal Uzaru than Saiyan Prince now.
Lord Champa, is he strong enough now?
Quiet, Vados! What is this mortal doing? As both gods, slightly panicked, would only cover themselves, their eyesights slightly blurring until... Like a trained hound, shooting the block, a legendary Vegeta would fly forward straight at them, with a speed and power he simply never had before.
Oh, lucky me.
And only moments later, we would then see the first target would be Vados in fact. The angel remaining, however, understandably confident.
Oh my.
But when this legendary Vegeta would punch, Vados would show why her confidence was so high,
dodging the prince with ease and with hardly a change in her smiling expression. Sorry, mysterious Saiyan, but you're not quite up to my standard yet. As Vados would swoosh her long white hair and move backwards out of the way, the primal Vegeta just remaining, knowing subconsciously he was outmatched.
For a minute there, this Saiyan had me concerned. All that noise for no reason. What a useless species.
But hearing this voice from behind, Vegeta would then immediately turn his attentions to the next target. But the prince would not actually make contact, just swiping his arm brashly in front of him. But to Chumpa's surprise...
Hold on!
That swipe alone would cause a gust of pressurized wind that would take the destroyer off guard, blasting him backwards for the first time at the hands of a mortal. And it would be at that point Vegeta would rush straight forward to try his luck with a god this time instead of an angel.
Sneaky one! You're being destroyed for that, mortal!
But Champa would regain himself in quick time and move his palm up straight away.
Guess you go before this planet after all! Okay!
As right in that palm, a ball of purple destruction would form immediately. And with one touch, the story of the God Killer Vegeta was about to end. Firing it off, and with Vegeta's rapid speed forward, just like before when he couldn't stop himself from being transported to another realm, it would seem the same fate would await him. But with this new transformation, as primitive as his mind was, it would appear his constant improvement would extend to not only his power, but to learning from his mistakes, vanishing instantly from the Hakkai's path until...
What? You!
Back with Champa, the fat god would now find an even larger being, right at his face, casting a giant shadow over him.
Saiyan!
As right on top of him would be the largest Vegeta ever seen, his body full of rage as if Champa had done him incredibly wrong. His muscular, vein-filled arm pulled right back and Champa remaining still with his empty palm still out. And with insane speed, Vegeta would actually make his move and make it correctly, perfectly striking with full force the solar plexus of the furry god.
How dare he! But this power, this is a Saiyan!
But as Champa would remain confused, torn between annoyance from this pain and confusion over how he could even feel it, legendary Vegeta would already be preparing his next strike to capitalize.
No! This is enough!
But when Champa would duck his head down with a grimace, he would be done with the humoring games. Immediately rising his leg like an axe kick to deflect Vegeta's arm up like a paper bag before...
Die!
With that same leg, he would Spartan kick the Brolic beast straight into the chest. The Saiyan's pupilless eyes burst open from the sheer force and impact.
Sent back where he came from, at the foot of the god of destruction. And after crashing onto the ground, skidding along like a skipping stone across water, Vegeta's sudden transformation would be over. Back to base and barely conscious, his body trembling like it had been pushed too far and too soon. And knowing this immediately, the feet of an angel would soon be arriving near Vegeta, but unfortunately, it wouldn't be one of a guardian. Now looking down at his pulverized body, Vados would let out, "That was quite the show. His power level went far beyond the King of Sadalas. Could this be a sign Lord Beerus's universe has stronger fighters than our own? I wonder how that will play out if Lord Zeno ever decides to put it to the test. Anyway, shall I dispose of him, or you, Lord Champa?" Zeno! As Champa would then find himself in deep thought, thinking, "That brat could do anything. If I kill this Saiyan now, it could be a real thorn in Beerus's side. But then again, no! We keep the boy. There is something different about him. He could be just what we were looking for, Vados." And sometime later, after those ominous final words, Vegeta would in fact survive and be found in a regal bed sleeping away. "Destroyer! Where are you?" But much like his last sleep, Vegeta would wake up in a bother, his body tense as if still in fight mode. These clothes! These are Champa's! But soon enough, looking down and around, he would notice he was completely dressed differently, questioning, "What happened? I was winning, and the next moment I woke up here. That power I had, is that what you were capable of, Broly?" "What happened was, you placed your allegiance to me." But soon enough, an interruption would occur, as a shadowy figure of a certain feline would begin waltzing through an open door. And Vegeta, quick to his feet, would only respond, "Allegiance? A Saiyan aligns with no one but the king." Before staring forward, continuing, "And that king would be me. Tell me, cat, why have you kept me alive? You clearly defeated me." "That I did. But you know, you're not even the king of the Saiyans in this universe, kid. I kept you alive because you're greater than them regardless. And, as it turns out, I'm your only way out of here. While you were sleeping, you kept mumbling something. Kakarot this, Kakarot that. Someone you'd like to meet again? Someone from your universe." "What? I was doing that?" As while Champa would be saying this, Vegeta would freeze from possible embarrassment, not saying anything, as the destroyer would continue, "Whoever it is, you're only back if I help you. And you see, before that, you're going to need to do something for me. My universe lacks anyone with the potential to become the next destroyer. The closest we had was an assassin, but he had no interest, and nothing I could bribe him with. But if you accept my offer of training in the ways of destruction, not only will you become infinitely stronger, but you, as the new god of destruction of this universe, will be able to go back home whenever you desire. Vados, my angel, will be yours. Training with a destroyer! I too could possess the power of Hakai then!
And immediately, words would now spout out from the prince, his mind ablaze with ideas and possibilities. But with the sole caveat, he had to remain in a universe where he did not belong. But it would only take a moment for those thoughts to turn into a signature smirk, with the Saiyan letting out,
So, what you're asking is, do I want to become a god and surpass Kakarot in ways I thought never possible? Sign me up, Garfield!
As just like that, the prince turned king would now elevate himself to the level of a god, all in record time.
I had a feeling you'd say yes. You remind me of a younger me. I'm gonna take that as an insult looking at you, kitten. Prepare yourself!
As now the god of destruction candidate, Vegeta, would begin day one of his training, rushing straight at his new mentor. Starting off with a barrage of kicks that Champa effortlessly avoids, letting out,
Yeah, you have a long way to go, little Saiyan.
And so, over the span of a few years, Vegeta would train, and train hard, trying desperately each day to master the art of Hakai, fighting endlessly with Lord Champa himself under the watchful eye of Vados. Exhausted each day, he would receive Zenkai boosts, but not just any. As with Broly inside him, his constant development would be monstrous, his power climbing to untold heights. And as he would spend more and more time in Universe 6, he would even find himself finding new friends, replacing the ones he didn't have on Earth, meeting Cabba, Kale, Caulifla, as well as Hit. But eventually everything would culminate to one moment. A moment where before Champa and Vados, a fiery explosion of purple aura mixed undeniably with Hakai would emerge.
So this is what it's like to be a destroyer.
As finally and triumphantly, Vegeta would emerge in the Ultra Ego form, unquestionably with some mix of Broly's legendary essence mixed in. It would be an ego stronger than any seen before. And the final test would soon come, when both Vegeta and Champa would exchange massive balls of Hakai, grinding the destruction on each other, both trying to overpower the other. Come on, Master Vegeta! You can do this! I've never seen Lord Champa on the ropes like this! As down below, Vegeta's biggest fan and apparent student, even in this multiverse, Cabba, would cheer him on. While Hit, watching nonchalantly with his hands in his pockets, would just whisper, "This progression. How could this Saiyan get this far in such a short amount of time?
What monsters must lay in Universe 7, I wonder. I must find out for myself one day. The bounties must be gigantic. And before long, their final yells would let loose, both destroyers etching their vocal cords through the entirety of Universe 6, their faces becoming beastly, as each would be lost in the light of each other's Hakais until... It can't be! Vegeta! Champa would be the one to yell out in panic, a purple hue covering him, as fear would now set in, and a scream would let loose as Vegeta's Hakai would push forward so hard, Champa's own destruction would begin swallowing him whole. But it would seem the battle would be over, and Vegeta would still not be a god killer. Champa, though exhausted and singed all over, would still be alive, smirking proudly saying, "Well, Vados, I was right. As always, our new destroyer has arrived. I'm beat. Age has got the better over me finally." It's not age, Champa. What this is the natural domination of the warriors known as the Saiyans. It's time you officially hand over that title of God. I'm looking forward to immortality. But first... As quickly Vegeta's expression would turn to one far more serious, as he would continue, "But first stick to your word and send me back home. I've done what you asked. I surpassed you and promised I would take the title of Destroyer here. But I still have business I need to deal with. It's been 2 years, but I'm finally ready." Huh? Master! You're not serious, are you? As all three of the Universe 6 friends he had just made would react in disbelief, Champa being the most surprised, as he would quickly mutter out, "You're not serious! You just gained all this power here! You were nothing before us! The ceremony to become a god will take days! You need Vados as your angel before you can even go!" But Vegeta would then just competently land in front of the destroyer and begin ominously walking straight towards him, eventually moving past, sending the same tingle down Champa's spine he felt before, as with his arms folded, Vegeta would say, "Of course I'm serious. I was serious the day I agreed to this farce, and I expect you to be also. The deal wasn't that I needed Vados to take me back. The deal was that I couldn't get back without you, Champa. You know as well as anyone, there is still someone I need to take down. People I need to see after all this time. You're going to take me back, Champa, or we are going to have a problem." To which Champa, in almost disbelief, but knowing there wasn't anything he could do anymore, would remain with his back turned, looking back saying, That Kakarot you spoke of? Son Goku? You're still worrying about him. What is wrong with you? And what people? Those mortals on Earth, I presume? Well, would you look at that? You did your research, didn't you? Hard to believe you had the time with our training schedule. But yes, Kakarot must face my vengeance. You wouldn't understand. It's a Saiyan thing. But I won't stand for another of my kind to be the victor over me. And as for the Earthlings, this time away has led me to think. And I didn't leave that place on the right terms. Seems rather godly to make things right, so I'll be doing that too. Well then, I hope you know, you'll be wasting your time!
As suddenly Chompa's voice would raise, shouting out,
I did do my research. I had to go find out who this Kakarot was. Finding out if Beerus really was harboring all kinds of fighters as strong as you. But turns out he's nothing of the sort. He's dead. He died a long time ago, even before we met. And that planet Earth of yours, everyone's dead there too. All at the hands of someone called Frieza. What? Kakarot is dead! Frieza!
as in an unbelievable shock twist. It would seem in this multiverse, Goku did not actually defeat Frieza. The Ice Demon had come out on top, found Earth, annihilated everyone, and only moments after, Vegeta had left them on his futile journey to find a dead man. Now with guilt and vengeance on his mind, the god of destruction Vegeta would have an entirely new goal.
But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag Frieza in the comments down below and let me know what God Killer Vegeta does now. Or just find out what happens right now on my Patreon, where you can see the full next video, fully voice acted, soundtracked and edited for you to enjoy with over 4,500 plus other fans, as well as getting access to 250 plus other fan mangas too. It's the deal of the century.